Now, the government here has defended its timing of a further easing of the lockdown in England from tomorrow. The Communities Secretary Robert Jenrick said they were reasonably confident the steps being taken were manageable, but people also had to play their part. From tomorrow, all 4 UK nations will have guidelines in place allowing more than 2 people to meet outside. Vulnerable people in England and Wales who have been advised to stay home since the coronavirus lockdown began will also be able to go outdoors again. Shielding advice in Northern Ireland and Scotland hasn't changed. The first phase in the reopening of schools will begin in England, with children in nurseries and years 1 and 6 to return. And provided they meet safety guidelines to protect shoppers and workers, open-air markets and car showrooms can also start to trade again. The relaxing of measures comes as another 113 deaths were recorded in the latest 24-hour period, taking the total number of deaths to 38,489. Here's our political correspondent, Chris Mason.
Shropshire in the sunshine. This is Carding Mill Valley, a spot so popular today, the car park eventually had to close. Scientists say the chance of catching the virus outside is pretty small, but they're pleading with us to be cautious.
It is not just about what it is possible to do, it's about what it is sensible to do. And what is sensible to do is have as few interactions as possible.
By tomorrow, all parts of the UK will have guidelines in place to allow more than 2 people to meet outside. In England, groups of up to 6 people can gather from different households. In Wales, any number of people from 2 different households will be able to meet. Families should aim to travel no more than 5 miles. In Scotland, 2 separate households up to a maximum of 8 people can meet. As in Wales, people are being encouraged not to travel far. And in Northern Ireland, groups of up to 6 people who don't live together can gather. Wherever you are in the UK, social distancing rules still apply, and people from different households must stay 2 metres apart. We've heard how crucial it is in this next stage that we stick scrupulously to the rules, that this is a very dangerous moment, that this is a sensitive moment. So I wonder how worried you are, having seen the pictures this weekend where social distancing is difficult or impossible.
Those additional easements together will still, in all likelihood, keep the rate of infection below 1. So we're reasonably confident that the steps that we've taken and will be taking on Monday are manageable.
As we venture out more, this was Burnsall in the Yorkshire Dales today. Is the government being reasonably confident they're getting this right? Good enough? Labour are sceptical.
Test, track and isolate is fundamental because unless that works, we won't know where the disease is, we won't be able to shut it down in localised areas, and we could see the reimposition of a lockdown.
And others point to geographical differences around the UK.
You going in there? Yeah.
It may be that actually easing lockdown is perfectly okay in areas like London, which were hit early and hit hard, but up north, it's still a very large number of cases.
Relaxing the rules is loaded with uncertainty. No one can know what the consequences will be. Chris Mason, BBC News.
Well, thousands flocked to the beaches around the country today to enjoy the lovely weather as the lockdown eases further. But how is it possible to practice social distancing when the beaches are jam-packed? Duncan Kennedy reports now from Bournemouth.
The beach at Bournemouth was packed by mid-morning. People out to enjoy the sun and keep their social distance as best they could.
Tens of thousands of people here who are not socially distancing.
But it became so crowded, the leader of the council herself, Vicky Slade, came out to warn people of the dangers.
Every household I've met so far has said, oh, we all live in a house together.
She says with numbers like these, social distancing can become challenging.
Unbelievable.
There are unlikely to be foreign holidays this year, which means places like this will be seeing a lot more visitors than normal. That's great, but only when it's safe. It's not safe yet.
The gaps between people were clear in many areas of the beach, but some still didn't feel comfortable.
I've lived here for 10 years and I've never seen it this busy on a non-lockdown day, let alone today. It's just absolutely crazy.
How much social distancing do you think is going on here?
Not a lot, to be honest. None at all, to be honest.
but most were still happy to stay. Although the vast majority of people here are trying to keep socially distant, the rules change again in England tomorrow, allowing up to 6 people to gather. The local council says it's writing to MPs and the government to ask them for more help to keep places like this safer. With the arrival of summer, the issue of how we come together to stay apart remains with us. The end of pier sign sums up one council's view and what they think we should be doing about it. Duncan Kennedy, BBC News in Bournemouth.
Vulnerable people in England and Wales who've been shielding in their homes since March will be able to venture out for the first time from tomorrow. They've been shielding because of underlying health conditions, putting them more at risk from coronavirus. The advice that they can go out comes 4 weeks earlier than expected. Here's our health editor, Hugh Pym.
Come on then. Come on.
Charlie has an immune deficiency and asthma. She's been shielded since March, not leaving her house and garden, but from tomorrow she will be able to, taking the dog for a walk and meeting a member of the family.
I'm ecstatic. I've already rung my mum and she's going to come for a dog walk tomorrow morning at 10:30 so that we can actually have a proper conversation in the air and it'll feel like we're a lot closer again. So even though we can't embrace yet, it will be much better than it has been.
Those most at risk from the virus because of their health conditions are shielding. Around 2.5 million people in the UK, including transplant recipients, some cancer patients, those with severe respiratory conditions and those who are immunosuppressed. Since March, they've been told not to leave their homes, but from tomorrow in England and Wales, they will be allowed to go outside. In England, meeting one person from another household if they want to, and in Wales, people from another household. The rules haven't changed in Scotland and Northern Ireland. But some are worried. Faizan has kidney dialysis at home in Blackburn 4 days a week. He's waiting for a transplant. He stayed indoors for 10 weeks with his mother and brother. He says he won't be going out tomorrow.
It's not something I really would want to risk. I'd rather be safe than sorry. And yeah, the messaging generally from the government over the past couple of months has been very muddled and unclear, and it just doesn't really fill me with much confidence, and I'm probably more afraid now than I was at the beginning.
One charity leader gave a cautious welcome, but said the change had come with no notice.
The way this announcement has been made and the fact that we haven't seen any of the evidence for this particular group that says it's now safe, it's actually created quite a lot of anxiety amongst people, and people are hearing different things now in the government announcement as they're hearing from their own clinical team.
Ministers say it's up to people in the shielded groups whether they go outside or not. They should only do what they're comfortable with, and there'll be a review of the policy in mid-June. Hugh Pym, BBC News.